You ever watch those parents at the playground? The ones with just one kid in tow? They're hovering a bit too close, packing an entire picnic for a 30-minute outing, and glancing around like they're waiting for judgment from the multi-kid families. Yeah, I've seen it 100 times, and honestly, I've felt it myself back when my circle was full of folks deciding on family size. It's like being an only child parent comes with this invisible backpack of worries. Am I doing enough? Is my kid missing out? Am I turning them into some kind of mini-me monster? But here's the kicker. The psychology behind parenting just one child isn't all doom and overprotection. It's this weird mix of freedom, intensity, and, yeah, a dash of guilt that nobody warns you about. And trust me, it's way more nuanced than those old stereotypes make it out to be. Let's start with why people end up as only child parents in the first place. It's not always some grand plan, you know. Sometimes it's economics biting hard. Raising one kid costs a fortune these days, with daycare alone feeling like a second mortgage. Other times, it's life throwing curveballs. Infertility struggles, a tough pregnancy that scares you off round 2, or just getting started later in life and realizing, hey, one's plenty. But psychologically, there's this undercurrent of choice that messes with your head. Parents often wrestle with this internal tug-of-war. On one hand, you're thrilled to pour everything into that single kid, no dividing attention or resources. On the other, there's this nagging voice saying, shouldn't I give them a sibling? Aren't I being selfish? It's contradictory as hell. You want the best for them, but part of you wonders if best means more family chaos. And speaking of chaos, or the lack of it, that's where things get interesting for only child parents. Without siblings around to bicker over toys or share the spotlight, the parent-child bond turns into this supercharged thing. It's like you're the kid's entire world, and vice versa. Researchers have dug into this, like in a study from the American Psychological Association where Toni Falbo, this professor who's been studying only children for decades, points out that these kids often have tighter, more positive relationships with their parents. No surprise, right? With no brothers or sisters to split time, parents end up chatting more like adults with their kid, exposing them to grown-up conversations early on. But flip that coin, and it can feel overwhelming for the parent. You're not just mom or dad, you're playmate, teacher, referee, all rolled into one. I mean, who hasn't had that moment where you're exhausted from being on all day, wishing for a sibling to distract them for 5 minutes? That intensity breeds some quirks in how only child parents operate. Take overprotectiveness. It's a classic trap. Without the built-in buffer of siblings teaching resilience through playground scraps or shared failures, parents can go overboard shielding their one and only. A paper from BYU ScholarsArchive talks about this parental focus phenomenon, where the spotlight on a single child amps up stress levels for everyone. Parents pile on expectations because, well, all their hopes ride on this one human. The study notes how only children often feel that weight, leading to anxiety or self-hatred if they don't measure up. But as a parent, you're caught in this loop. You know you should let them fall and learn, but the thought of your only kid getting hurt hits different. It's like, sure, independence is key, but also, let me bubble wrap you just this once. Contradictory? Absolutely. Human? Totally. Then there's the guilt factor, which sneaks up on you like a bad habit. Society's still hung up on the ideal family with 2.5 kids and a dog, so only child parents often field those awkward questions. Just the one? When's the next? It plants seeds of doubt, making you second-guess if your kid's lonely or spoiled. But here's where research flips the script. Falbo's work shows those stereotypes selfish, maladjusted kids don't hold water. In fact, only children tend to be more ambitious and confident, topping even firstborns in some areas. Parents might worry about socialization, but if you're proactive with playdates, sports, or cousins, they pick it up fine. Still, that guilt lingers, especially when you see sibling bonds elsewhere. You think, am I robbing them of that? But then you remember the perks: more travel, deeper one-on-one time, No sibling rivalry draining the household vibe. It's this back and forth that keeps only child parenting feeling raw and real. Oh, and don't get me started on the spoiling myth. Yeah, it's easy to indulge when there's no one else clamoring for the last cookie. Parents might overdo it materially, extra toys, fancy classes because they can, but psychologically, it's more about emotional investment. That BYU study highlights how undivided attention can create perfectionist tendencies in kids, with parents unintentionally modeling high standards. You're pushing for straight A's not out of meanness, but because you see so much potential in your solo act. Yet, there's a flip side. Many only child parents swing the other way, deliberately teaching humility and chores to counter the spoiled label. It's quirky. One day you're saying yes to everything. The next you're enforcing no screen time till homework's done, like a drill sergeant. I know folks who've admitted to this. I spoil them rotten with love, but make them earn their allowance like I did. It's that human inconsistency, trying to balance nurture with tough love. Aging adds another layer to this psychology. As only child parents get older, the "who'll take care of us?" question looms. Without siblings to share the load, it all falls on one kid, which can breed resentment or burnout. Psychology Today. Articles from adult-only children echo this. Many feel privileged growing up but burdened later, handling parental care solo. Parents anticipate this, sometimes overcompensating by being extra independent themselves. It's a contradiction. You raised a self-reliant kid, but now you're worried about depending on them. And honestly, it can lead to some dark thoughts, like regretting not having more backups. But again, research offers comfort. Studies show only children often step up willingly, their close parental bonds making caregiving feel natural, not obligatory. Despite all these twists, being an only child parent has this quiet joy that's hard to explain. You get to witness every milestone undivided, build traditions that feel tailor-made. No dividing holidays or attention, it's intimate, almost like rediscovering your own childhood through theirs. Sure, there are quirks, the overthinking, the occasional envy of big families, the fear of what if, but it's human messiness at its best. Parents aren't robots. We contradict ourselves, second guess, and adapt. If you're in this boat, cut yourself slack. Your kid's not doomed. They're probably thriving in ways you don't even see yet. Wrapping this up, think about your own setup. If you're an only child parent or no one, remember it's not a flaw. It's a valid path with its own psychology, full of depth and yeah, a few bumps. Falbo and that BYU research back it up. Focus on balance and it works out. If this sparked something for you, hit subscribe for more of these chats. And if you want to back these kinds of talks, join as a channel member. I'd really appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.